while I was watching the movie as well, there was nothing that really struck me as extraordinary. After watching Diya, I was on the lookout for a light-hearted movie which will not be too hard on the emotional front. I saw the trailer for Love Mocktail and I thought, yes, I found what I'm looking for and I will definitely go and check it out. I said as much during the trailer reactions as well, and none of you warned me. When I finally watched it, I found out that I was not prepared for this movie. Hello people, welcome back to the channel. Diya and Love Mocktail were very highly recommended movies, and after Diya, this was the next one on my list. I went in expecting a light, fun movie, but that's definitely not what I saw. The movie starts off on a fairly routine premise. Aditi is traveling, her car breaks down, she gets into an unfortunate situation and Adi rescues her. And then they travel together. And during this travel, Adi is narrating his love life starting from the school time. This is not the most unique premise for a movie, but it is the treatment which makes it unique. Starting off with Adi's first tryst during the school time, the atmosphere was set really well, and it's very rare that you can do that with one sequence. And the WWE cards, which at that time was obviously WWF, it was a very simple but effective way of transporting us back to those days. The story moves on to his university life, and this was the part that I liked the most. Maybe because it was the most light-hearted part of the movie. A lot of the details, like having a limited amount of equipment to play your cricket, waiting until midnight to get the next set of free messages. Once again, this was a very simple but effective way of transporting us back in time. When I'd seen the trailer, I was not sure if it is the same actor who is playing the young Adi and then the relatively aged Adi. And I was given the link to a behind the scenes video which showed that these two are two different actors. They have done a remarkable job during casting to find out actors which are very similar to each other, and you can believe that it is the same person growing up. The Adi at university is the favorite of mine. He brings a kind of energy and effervescence to the role, and you can easily get drawn into how excited he is during that time. Up until then, I thought I've got the movie that I had seen in the trailer. Brahma. Huh? And then it starts getting serious, and the movie hits you like life hits Adi when he gets into the job. It's no longer as carefree, it's no longer as fun as it was during the college life. And I think this transition is handled really well, and I believe this was a really crucial decision to cast two different actors because they are so different in their demeanor and the kind of portrayal that they have to give, that I don't know if it would have worked as well if it was the same actor playing it. Maybe it would have worked, but I think this choice was really crucial to making this movie as good as it is. Jo also transitions really well from this fun carefree girl into the one who is constantly bugging Adi and making his life miserable. The movie morphs into this relatively matured love story with the arrival of Nidima, and a number of sequences are really well done. They are really cute.
ನೋಡಿದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ನ
ಎಕ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆ ಡಬಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ಯಾ
Their chemistry is really natural and it comes across as very lifelike on the screen. Even though Adi has gone through this difficult transition from Jo onto Nidima, you're still not prepared for what comes after that. All of this time, this story is being narrated by Adi to Aditi, and the transitions between the journey in the present time and the flashbacks is really smooth. It was never intrusive. I think it was done really well. I think the editing of this one and the decision when to transition back into the flashbacks and come back into present was really good. Nidima's transition to this grief-stricken and on her deathbed woman is what gives the story this seriousness, and it gives the story the aspect that I wasn't expecting from the trailer. I think it's handled very sensitively. And normally I would not comment on a character's hair, but there was a little sequence where she starts losing her hair and she's grief-stricken because of that. This is a little detail and normally it wouldn't be of much significance, but she had great hair throughout the movie, and then when she loses it and how it affects her, I think that was a brilliant piece of detail. The movie is not perfect though. There are a number of sequences which seem a little bit cliched and don't really add much to the story. So the initial sequence, how Aditi and Adi come across, and then there was another fight sequence, I think they should have been left at the editing table. Yes, there was a little bit of comedy tried during those fights, but I don't think they were really necessary. The cast of supporting actors as well, it was really up and down. Some parts were done really well and the others were barely average. The portrayal of the girl from Adi's school, I think her name was Rima, having grown into this overweight woman, I think it was a little bit crass. It probably would have worked better if there was a better actress portraying that part, but it seemed a little bit jarring. I don't think it gelled very well with the sensitive tone of the movie. While I was watching the movie as well, there was nothing that really struck me as extraordinary. I didn't think that the story is really novel. I didn't think that the acting was top notch. It doesn't have the biggest budget, it doesn't have huge stars, but I think this is the perfect example of a movie where the sum is bigger than its parts. The amalgamation of good storyline, decent acting, good music, and a sensitive portrayal of different characters. It makes up a movie which leaves an impression by the end of it. So, although you won't be able to put your finger on what makes this movie extraordinary, but when you have finished this and when you end this movie and you move away, it will leave an impression on you. And it's made on a relatively tiny budget and with a debutant director, but you don't feel the lack of experience as a director or the lack of budget in any way holding back the movie. Although this is not the kind of movie I'd signed up for, I had gone in expecting some light-hearted entertainment, but it was still a very good watch. And I think together with Dia, Love Mocktail proves that you don't need a huge amount of budget, you don't need huge stars to make a good movie. If you have a good storyline, if you are brave enough to treat the story not in the usual commercial run-of-the-mill way, you can come up with a good movie. Special mention for Aditi's character. Throughout the movie, I thought that I will not like this character at all, and I think this nagging thought that I had from the beginning, like how can she travel with Adi when she barely knows him, towards the end when she starts explaining that this may be because of how similar she is to Nidima, it starts to make a lot more sense. It ties a lot of the threads together and makes sense towards the end. Despite the tragedy that is portrayed in the movie, it was still a movie with a positive ending, with Adi shown as having moved on from the tragedy that has had, but in a mature, natural kind of way. So there is no contrived ending, there is no attempt to make it end like you can have a ready-made sequel at the end, which would have completely destroyed the movie. So I think the treatment was very sensitive. It is a mature, evolved story, which is one for ages. I like this movie and it deserves all the positive reviews that it is getting. I hope a lot more people watch it and it gives Krishna an even more budget for his next movie. Let me know what you thought of it. And controversial question, out of Dia and Love Mocktail, which one is your favorite? Write it down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends and family.